listening to Inside Voices on WNHHLP 103.5 FM.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Welcome to Inside Voices. My name is Georgia Goldberg. I am the Executive Director of Hope for New Haven, as well as the co-founder of CERCLE, the agency that is responsible for Inside Voices. And I am thrilled today to have one of my favorite people to mess with, Miss Andrene Cross. And I have to be honest, Andrene, I've been looking forward to this conversation, and I think I'm just like bubbling inside over my excitement because of where I see you going. I haven't been just privileged to see your journey. And I am just like messing up this intro because I'm so excited about having you here to have this conversation. So welcome, 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 Miss
Thank
Andrew.
you.
Yes. So before I jump into our conversation, I just want to share with the audience, and I'm going to embarrass you a little bit, Andrea, and I hope you don't mind. But we've had this conversation before,
Mhm.
right? Before we start, Andrene Cross is an early childhood educator in the Hope Child Development Center, which is a program of Hope for New Haven. And you are the lead teacher in our infant classroom. And not only are you a lead teacher, but you are also a master teacher for our workforce
Yes.
development program, a mentor teacher for our workforce development program. So you wear a lot of hats at Hope in addition to hats at home. And before we delve into that, Andrine, I'm just going to share with the audience. The conversation we're going to have is about our workforce training program, frame, future ready and more equipped program. And it didn't start that way, but you were a part of that pioneering work that we did. And what this program is a workforce training program that identifies people in the community that we want to bring into early childhood education. And they don't have to have experience, they don't have to have credentials, they just need to have a desire and a passion for this work. And we started this journey through CERCLE some 10 years ago in response to the childcare teacher crisis that was always an issue and a concern for our industry, but it didn't become it became a little bit more acute due post-pandemic, and it's been raised up to the level of, you know, the federal government, state government, obviously, and it is now one of the governor's key um, his key work that he's doing, and I'm missing the word that I want to use, but in short, this is now something that the governor and even his workforce council is looking into. How do we bring more people in early child education and get them skilled and trained? And this is the work that we were doing when our path crossed, Andrene. And I've shared this with Andrene before. There is a interview process. We put out the job posting. There's an interview process, and people come in, and then the Circle team has to decide who they're going to invite into as workforce trainees. And Andrene was one of our big conversation because we were just like, we don't quite know if she's ready to be in the program. She just feels like she's kind of all over the place. We know what she wants to do, and I'm like, no, we're not going to bring her on. And the Circle team advocated for you to come on, and we were just like, okay, let's bring her into the program. And I share that story because I am so glad that they pushed to have you in the program, because I would say undoubtedly you are one of the greatest success, and I am speaking into the future, including your is and will be one of our great success in this program. And I am just so proud, and I've shared this with you, so proud of the work that you produce every day for Hope Child Development Center.
Thank
So
you.
I'm given all that background just to kind of say, and I've shared this with you, right, Miss Andrew,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
all right. So before we get started with our conversation, just share with the folks who you are and what you do.
Um, well, as you have heard, my name is Andrene Cross. I immigrated from Jamaica in 2016. I'm now single. I have two boys, one with special needs and one
Are you
jock.
advertising?
Oh boy, no, I'm not,
No.
but
But go.
And I just recently completed my CDA through Hope Child Development. And I am a lead teacher, as she said, for the infant room. I am also a mentor. And I just love it. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, coming from a 9 to 5 corporate America, I decided to be like, okay, let's make a switch and see, what will happen. And from I was much younger, I was told that I am very patient and I'm loving towards children. But I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then look at me. I'm a teacher and I love every bit of it.
You mentioned that you're patient, and I will share with the audience as well. You went into a room with two other Jamaican women,
Oh my goodness.
and one of them was my mother. And and one of the things, and I love them. Clearly, I love my mother and Miss Bevy in that room. But one of the things that I can say for those two were the two of the more difficult people, and I can say that because they know to work with. And you went in, Andrene, and nothing bothered you. They didn't bother you. You didn't bat an eye. You weren't stressed out. I mean, talk about patience. Forget about the kids. It's the adults that really highlight your level of patience. So I will just say I bow down to you for going into that environment and just basically being able to create a cohesive team in that room.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that is an extraordinary skill to do. But before we jump into those details, so you were in a corporate setting and then you decide that you wanted to work in childcare. What made you make the switch?
Well, one of them is childcare. And as you know, the school system, they randomly give time off for the kids and the teachers to do either planning or whatever, situation arise. And it always stressed me out to the point as to where I have to take time off from my job and my boss wasn't in an understanding. And then I will try to ask people to help me and it still wasn't helping out. So I was like, I got to figure it out. Before I even reached there, I lost my job and I was home and I attended a job fair. And when I attended the job fair, I was in the office with the advisor and I looked up on the wall and I was like, hmm. And then he said, oh, that's a teaching job and you could apply for it. And I was like, all right, let me try. I applied, I got accepted. And after getting to know the program and stuff like that, I was like, okay, if I could do this at my home, I would still be able to take care of other people's kids and have time for my children. So I was like, let me do this. And here I am.
So your story is so typical of many people who come into early care and education, right?
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, the history of childcare is that the childcare industry is that it was created by or pioneered by women who needed to work but
Yes.
couldn't have, opportunities outside of the home because they had children and they had to figure out what to do with their children, as well as, how do I make a living for myself? So again, your story is historically the story of how many, many women enter into childcare. And so can you talk a little bit about what those childcare challenges were for you?
Um, it would be. because at the time I wasn't driving, and it would be getting my children to the location on time to catch the bus and for me to reach the work.
Hmm.
And then I leave work at 5 o'clock. And for her, her shut off time is 5:30. And after 5:30, that will be more money added on, like late charges and stuff like that. So transportation was like one of the issues. And like I mentioned before, the days when the school decided to take off. And then another issue was trying to find a daycare that I felt comfortable in sending my kids to.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, we got to figure it out. So I have to be switching and jumping and all those lovely stuff. And then I was like, this is it. I got to make a switch.
Yeah. So, and you don't have to give like, a lot of details about it, but
Yes.
you did mention that you had a special needs son.
Yes, I do.
And so your need for childcare and the setting that you put your child in was very different
Important.
and
Yes.
more unique, not more unique, but more imperative for you because of his special needs. Um,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about that? And you can share as much as or as little as you want.
Sure. So for one, he wears a foot brace and he wears a hand brace as well.
Hmm.
So I have to make sure that this what do you call it, the surrounding he's able to move without being tripped over.
Hmm.
And I also want a place that would engage him in terms of activity.
Hmm.
And I want the teachers to be very understanding because he easily bored. And then not only that, he has seizure problems as well. So I
Hmm.
want the teachers to be able to be responsive, provide some kind of activity, and then make sure the area is clear of any toys or stuff like that so he doesn't fall.
And that was a challenge for you?
And that was one of the challenge because the last place that I was, it was a home daycare.
Hmm.
And it was basically he was bored. He would be sleeping all the time.
Hmm.
And he would just sit there being depressed, and I just couldn't handle it. Whereas Joshua, he was younger, so he was able to maneuver a lot of things and work with it. But the oldest one was my concern.
And that's also so typical in parents with special needs children. So I imagine that does have
Yes.
a bearing in how you work with children and with parents as well.
Yes, yes.
Andrene, when you came on through the circle, it wasn't called Frame at the time, but it was our ECE apprenticeship program.
Yes.
And you were not just coming on to be an ECE teacher, as you mentioned. You were thinking like, okay, if I can get this training, then maybe I can, do this work. So talk about how you were thinking or how you imagine that taking you through the training, what that transition would be for you, what it would look like for you. What were your aspirations and your hope for doing
Okay.
this?
So, like I said, I was having difficulties with my children in terms of childcare. And when I found out about this program and I, got the information that I needed, I was like, this would be a very good opportunity. The training was lovely. I had me a wonderful team. The support, gotta say thanks to the support. But not only that, it teaches me a lot because at the time, I didn't think that I would need so much to take care of a child. Because back
Mhm.
home, we don't do half the stuff that is required here. So I
Mhm.
was in for a nice adventure, and I took it with stride. And I was able to, do my ECE courses, do my CDA, which I'm proud of.
Mhm.
And I am now a mentor, and I'm passing on the knowledge that I have on to my fellow trainees.
Yeah, so for the folks who are not knowledgeable about the credentials in early child education, a CDA is a minimal credential. It's a starting point
Mhm.
for becoming professionally qualified. And then after a CDA, people typically move towards getting their associate degree and or bachelor's degree, and of course, going up the career ladder. So you came in and you didn't have a background in early childhood
No.
and you didn't have a credential, and you came in and you did some college courses in early childhood. Obviously, you did training, you did the in-classroom training, and you achieved your CDA credential. When did you achieve that, your credential?
It will be April of this year.
Okay, so it's been like several months now since
Yes,
you've
several
been
months. Yes.
credentialed. And, Andrene, we talk about it in a very cavalier way that, oh, you came in, you did the training, and then you got your credential. But you were working full time
Yes.
because this training requires you to work full time. It's
Yes.
a 40-hour per week training. You were a mom full time,
Mm-hmm.
and you were a mom of a special needs child
Yes.
full time, and you were going to school as well to get your credential.
Yes.
Talk about how you managed all of those things.
To be honest, like, you know, moving to America, before coming to America, I always have my dad.
Hmm.
So, life was, a little bit easy back home because if certain things didn't work out, then I could fall back on my dad.
Hmm.
Then when coming to America, I don't have my dad. It's me at the time, my husband and my kids.
Hmm.
And then I had to involve God. And then after involving God, I realized things started to get a little bit easier.
Hmm.
But of course, God throw a wrench into our plans, and then we have to be like, all right, let's start over, Jesus. I'm um I'm not ashamed to say this. I was homeless,
Mm,
and I realized in America you have to depend on God.
mm,
And you have to keep moving because if you don't move, you will become a part of the system.
mhm,
And I had to put God first in everything that I do. When I started the program, I was homeless while doing ECE,
mhm,
and I gonna say I didn't complete everything, but I at least I have a couple credits that I have under my belt.
mhm,
Then after that, I got the job full time at Hope.
mhm,
And then you offered the CDA course. I did it. And to be honest, I have me a couple coworkers that was finishing the classes and they were doing their portfolio. And I was like, God, when am I going to finish? And I remember he said to me, the race is not for the swift, but for those who can endure it.
yeah.
And that has been my little slogan. Um, one thing that Miss Beverly always said to me that I move slow. And I said to her, I move slow for a reason because I want to observe everything and I want to, learn from every single situation and then I can make some adjustment.
Mhm,
So one thing I did, during the course is that I did a lot of overnight. When I come home from work, I make sure my kids are fed. I did what I needs to be done as a mom, and then I will burn the light. I will burn the light during the night. And I will go to bed like sometime 12, 1 o'clock. If I'm not able to stay up that long, then I will get up like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, do what I have to do.
And
I
when you say you were doing overnight, you were doing the work, your
doing,
your,
yep,
your educational work. Yeah.
yes, doing the CDA at nights, or sometime I get up in the morning, like I said, and I would do it, and I would be like, God, when am I going to be finished? When am I going to be finished? And he has to remind me, the race is not for the swift, but for those who can endure it.
And I didn't want to share that aspect of your journey
Mhm,
publicly. I wanted to give you the space to share it.
mhm,
And this is why I am in such awe of you, because while you were going through the training full time and you were dealing with, having two children and you were by yourself, you had already split from your husband at that point, and you were also homeless. Right. So you were not just tackling being a mom, a full-time trainee and
mhm,
working and all of that. you were also tackling homelessness. So when you came in
Yes.
the program, you were homeless.
Yes.
And again, you still had a vision for your life
Yes, I
and
do.
you push forward. And again, this is why, for me, I am so committed to this journey of working with people from the community because, you just needed an opportunity.
Yes.
You just needed an opportunity and space. And so share with us where you have progressed. Well, we talked about professionally, now you have
Mhm.
your CDA, but what about you personally? Where are you now personally? I know where you are, and I'm really super proud of where you are, but where are you now personally, and how did you get yourself to this place?
Okay. Now I have me a little apartment
Mhm.
and I currently drive. And mentally, I'm not gonna say I am like 100%, you know, strong, but I am getting better. Um, I have learned to celebrate small wins.
Mhm.
I have learned to be patient with myself and just learn to just take life one day at a time.
Mhm.
Like I said, the race is not for the swift, it's for those that who can endure it.
Yeah.
I have tried my best to, venture off, but I was like, no, you need to relax and you need to take things one step at a time. And let's see what happened down the road instead of you trying to do things yourself.
Yeah. You were one of the trainees that I had to have a very difficult conversation with. And I have had difficult conversation with folks and people have meltdowns and call me evil and I receive it. But
Hmm.
you were one of the folks I had to have difficult conversation with in sort of like
Hmm.
organizing that personal aspect of your life because
Yes.
your son requires a lot.
Hmm.
And there were tears that were shed. There were
Hmm.
tears that were shed in that conversation,
Hmm.
but you did make the transition. So
Yeah.
talk to me about, when we had that conversation about like organizing certain things in your life. Um, what did you hear and how did that propel you to take the steps that you did to now? And again, I have the privilege to see you, moving out of homelessness. I have to see the privilege of seeing you learning how to drive and then get in your own car. So then you're no longer on the bus and you, and I so appreciate you being on the bus because when we went out this summer, with the kids. Samuel was the one that was helping us to navigate the bus route and stuff. But I've had the privilege to see you make that transition. And many times, again, I said, I've had difficult conversation with folks who are coming through the workforce training program, helping them to understand kind of what the expectations are for employers.
Hmm.
Some people hear it and make the transition. Some people don't. So I'm just curious, what was it that clicked for you and made you want to make that change?
I just didn't want to be homeless. I just didn't.
Mm,
I didn't. The type of lifestyle that I see for myself and my children, the
mhm,
only way that I'm going to achieve it is if I just follow the rules and regulation and just make some changes and then talk to the doctors. And I have me a good medical team.
mm,
I let them know that, listen, I have a tough job and I can't be able to just leave work or just call to work like that. So they were very understanding and I was able to make some changes on my end. And
mhm.
like I said, I have a dream and a vision and I want to work towards it. And the only way you can achieve your dream is that you have to make changes yourself.
Yeah. And this is a good segue to talk about the dream because this is really why we're truly here. Because again, when you started the journey with the Now Frame program, your vision was not just to become an educator in a classroom, but to
Yes.
come to have your own family childcare business.
Yes.
So share with the audience what that vision is.
So I have two dreams. One is to be in an incubated system.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is to actually own a home
Mm-hmm.
and, have the family drop their children off and I will take care of them as the best as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And, be that supportive system, like be a part of the system that can alleviate people's stress in terms of finding a place for them to have their children stay.
So, do you have a vision for how your childcare center would operate? Like, what are the things that you want to focus on? What are the services that you would love to provide?
To be honest, I love all ages from
Mm-hmm.
newborn to pre-K, but
Mm-hmm.
I am so in love with the infants.
Mm-hmm.
I am in love with the infants, and I believe that I want to have my place set up for the infants specifically. But based on my research, I can't have it at home. It has to be at the incubation center.
Mm-hmm.
So I am praying that I will have like a spot and then I could do the incubation for infants classroom. But if other opportunity arise and I have to have like a different classroom age
Mm-hmm.
along with my infants.
Well, it's going to be your business, Miss
Okay.
Andrene, so you can make any decision that you want. That's the freedom of having your own family childcare business, is that you definitely get to decide who you want to serve. So you say you have a passion for the infants. What makes, because when you were trained in all of the classrooms.
Yes.
So, did you develop that passion as a result of the training that you were doing, or as a result of the placement of being that infant teacher?
Like I said, I love all ages,
Mm-hmm.
but for some strange reason, infant have it has softened me a lot. And then number two is that is when I see them make certain milestones.
Mm-hmm.
One that stood out to me most, I had a child, she couldn't walk, and the mom was contemplating doing therapy, and I was like, all right, let's see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And, I took my time with her and I watched other children that did birth to three in my classroom. And I took the skills and the information that I had and I put it to use on that child. And before she left my room, she was walking. And her mom and I are still in contact.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, she would praise me and be like, Miss Andrene, I so appreciate the fact that you took the time to teach my daughter to walk. And I feel valid to hear a parent telling me that because of my work and because of the other work, the help of my other team members, that she was able to walk. For me, sometimes they do some little silly stuff and you have to laugh. And I'll be like, where did you get that from? And just hearing the stories, it's to me it does a lot for me. So that's why I will like let me stick with the infants. And I learned that between the age of 0 to 5
Mm-hmm.
they learn a lot,
Yeah.
and I want to be the first person to teach them a lot before they move on to the other classroom. Like
Exactly.
one of the things that I was told from my the class before me is that my children, they listen
Mm.
and they know how to, if I say, because there are keywords that I use in my classroom,
Mm-hmm.
and once they hear those keywords, they know what it means and they will stop to do what they're doing.
Yeah. So where did you learn where did you gain that knowledge from?
Right here at Hope.
No, I get that, but is it so is it more that you were, because you mentioned the Birth to Three providers, and for folks who aren't knowledgeable again about our industry, Birth to Three is an agency that comes in to the lives of a family, and they offer services for children that we've identified that are demonstrating signs of developmental delays, right? And
Mhm.
so the Birth to Three provider can work with a parent at home. They can work with with the child at home, with the child at the center, and a lot of times the Birth to Three providers do come into Hope and they become a part of our team, and they teach us a lot of stuff in the classroom and stuff. But you're also going to school as well, and you're in the
Oh,
classroom.
yes.
So
Yes.
then you said, you your kids have been trained in understanding what are those key words. to listen out for, to stop doing certain things or start doing something. So is that something that was just instinctive that came out of you, or was that a result of the training, observing Bertha 3? Where did that knowledge come from?
I would say from all three areas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because in my CDA, I was taught that you have to keep repeating certain stuff
Mm-hmm.
and you have to do a lot of redirecting. And once I put those training into effect into the classroom, I realized it does work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like we adults, you have to keep reminding them to do things over and over and over. It might become daunting, but at the end of the day, we get the results.
Yeah.
And birth three, I always pick their brains and I always observe what they do. And I would, put it to skills. And I also make that suggestions to parents as well.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one is feeding because a lot of parents always come to the classroom saying that they want their child to start to feed themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
I would ask them like how you assist your child. And then I would be like, okay, well, I said, can I make a suggestion? And I told them what to do, and then they execute it at home, and then I can see the child actually doing it in the classroom.
Yeah.
So, I get the information from CDA, from ECE, from previous teachers, and basically and also my observation of, when I put those things into play.
Yeah. One of the things that we want to use Inside Voices to do is to kind of highlight the critical work that we're doing. Because I hear from people who are outside of early child education that, oh, I thought you guys were just, babysitting and that you were just changing diapers and just making sure that the kids are fed. And you're in a room, with an age group of children where people feel like, well, you're not really teaching anything, because, they're babies. What can they learn? So talk about what it is that you do every day with those children that is key and critical in their lifelong learning and development.
All right, so for my age group, the first thing I had to let them to know that they should be aware of their legs,
Mm-hmm.
their hands, and they do have a voice. In
Mm-hmm.
my classroom, they always tell me to be quiet. So I'm always talking, I'm always dancing, I'm always singing. So movement is one of them. Routine, lessons. It doesn't matter how small it is, the lesson, because if you don't have control of the children, it would be very chaotic in the room. So routine is one, having an age appropriate lesson plan.
Mm-hmm.
Social and emotional is very important because that will let the child um, get comfortable in order to explore the room and
Mm-hmm.
to build friendship and create bonds with the teachers and with their friends. And when that child feels so secure, they will explore and they will learn.
Mm-hmm.
We sing a lot, we count, we are doing colors. I also let them know about taking off their shoes. Like I said, routine. So
Mm-hmm.
things that we do at home, simple cleaning up, they help pick up the toys.
Mm-hmm.
I have one and two children that are very smart that they actually know where the toys go on the shelf. I don't have to tell them anything. They actually do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, they know to take the shoes off. I don't have to help. They do it themselves. So those are the
So
things that I
how old are the children that you're teaching? So could give people context.
sure it's between 9 to 18 months old.
Mm.
Yes. So those are I try to get my kids to be as independent as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, life can be easy for the parent as well, because I've seen parents, they come in and they observe and they're like, you actually get them to do that? I said, yes. And even circle time, they love circle time. I read to the kids and they're able to identify the pictures, colors. I do a lot of stories and puppetry.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one and two children that are sensory issues. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to be working with them in order to come over that milestone. And so I do plan activities.
Yeah. Um, I've observed your circle time and it is hilarious because if I have to tell the audience, it is even in the newborn room, they
Mhm.
come over in your room, they come over and sit for
Yes,
circle.
yes,
These are like 9 to 18 month old, about a year or so. They're typically around a year to like 16 months in your room. And
Mhm.
when you give that cue to them, they all walk over and they sit down and they get ready for circle
After
time.
time, yes.
And, as an ed consultant, I often go out into other programs to talk about, supporting other centers in how to help preschoolers more specifically. And many preschool teachers will tell me they cannot get their preschoolers to sit. They can't get their preschoolers to sit. And I always say to them, that's a failure of your infant toddler program, right? Because again, not that the infants need to come in and sit in like a traditional circle, but as you mentioned, routines, understanding what
Mhm.
the routines are in the classroom and so on and so forth. So again, this is also another reason why I'm proud of you. But you are planning, we are getting ready at Hope and Circle to introduce a new training program. And this training program is going to be done at our new center, Legacy Learning Lab. And we are going to get ready to launch that. And you are going to be doing a program. You're not going to necessarily do it at the Legacy Learning Lab because we don't want to lose you at Hope Child Development Center. You're going to be undergoing that teacher training program. And that teacher training program is not only to teach you how to be a teacher in the classroom, but also to teach you how to be a family childcare business owner,
Okay.
right? So that is the training that, we're getting ready to go. And you mentioned the incubator, and I want to share again with the audience that Connecticut pioneered a family childcare incubator model where instead of family childcare businesses operating in their homes, you now can have a building that's operated by a nonprofit with multiple childcare businesses in that building. And our vision for you, Miss Andrene, is for you to eventually, when we convert that building into an incubator, for you to have your own classroom that will serve as your business. So when you think about that prospect, how does that make you feel?
Wonderful.
Do you have
Because
any
the
fear?
challenge.
Do you have any fear about the prospect of starting your own business?
To be honest, yes.
Okay.
But I know that I'm gonna have you and the team to push
Mhm.
me along, and it's not gonna be the only part that I'm gonna be a little bit rough on would be the administrative part, but I know that you're gonna be there to help me. I
Mhm.
have the classroom part packed, so like I said, I'm ready for
So
the
so
challenge.
confident. I've got the classroom. Pat. So what part, so when you imagine this business and the administrative piece, have you really thought through what some of the administrative work would be? Have you sat down to consider what those are, or are you just waiting to go through the program to understand?
No, because during the program, I was introduced to some of the background of it. I'm a parent, so
Mm-hmm.
I get some of the information firsthand. So with training and past experience as being administrator as well, I
Mm-hmm.
kind of have an idea of like the expectation and the workload behind being administrator.
Okay. And in terms of, again, coming back to your vision for the business, you are a parent of a special needs child and you understand a lot of the challenges
Mhm.
that, those parents face. Is any part of your own personal experience, will that drive? I know it will drive the work, but I guess the question is, how do you plan to allow that experience to drive the work that you do in your own family childcare business?
Well, number one, I know that the parents depend on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to try my very best to make some changes. And if I have to get help, I have to get help. But I know that people are actually depending on me to provide a space, a service to
Mm-hmm.
the children and advocate for the children and also advocate for the parent as well. So I know I have to make some adjustments, and I'm praying to God that I'm able to do it.
Okay. And you said you want to focus on infants and
Mhm.
infants, the infant room, more particularly your room. It's still really an early place, still for us to diagnose children, and sometimes people do steer away
Mhm.
from diagnosing children at that level. But you were a mom of a special needs child, and now you're an early child educator in an infant room. Are you able to like identify children based on your experience that are demonstrating those developmental delays, and how do you think the knowledge of working, now as an educator versus being a mom of a special needs child, how is that different engaging with children with now that new knowledge?
That's a very, very sensitive topic because a lot of parents, they are in denial.
Mm,
And the only thing that I can do as a teacher is to, like, once I identify it, I try my best to work with that child
mhm,
until the parent themselves come to the realization that my child has special needs,
mhm,
and I will, seek help for them.
mhm,
I, in a little nice way, I've hint, even when I do parent teacher conference and I let them know that, your child hasn't meet certain goals, however, we should still give them more time.
mhm,
And if they are receptive to the information, some will do something and some will not.
mhm,
So, the only thing that I can do as a teacher at this point in time is to, when I realize that the child is, having some difficulties meeting certain goals, then I will, work with them one-on-one or try to make some modification to the lesson plan in order to see if they can achieve at least one task.
Do you connect with or relate to that parent who is in, kind of not ready to accept that there is something different with their
I
child?
do. I do. I do because when my child became sick and they were telling me that, he can't do certain things, I was like, no, you're not, you are a liar. But after the realization, and then what I was taught, what I have learned in my courses, and then I looked at my son, I would be like, well, and that was a tough pill to swallow.
Mhm.
So, I do understand if you are in denial and you just don't want to accept it, but it's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
The only thing that you can do as a parent, and I do the same, is advocate for your child.
Mhm.
I also, I have a good social worker.
Mhm.
She always sending me some flyers, and I would read, and I would, ask Samuel if he wants to do it, and it's up to him if he wants. If he doesn't, then I have to support him as well.
Mhm. So, what advice would you give to anybody who is at the beginning of their journey? You're at the end of the beginning of your journey. You're not, at the end of your journey or even in the middle of your journey, but you're at the end of the beginning. What advice would you give to somebody who's looking to start this work or to start this journey?
I would say come with a blank slate.
Mm,
Because if you come with the info, if you come saying that you know this and you know that you will, I'm not saying that it will happen to you, but it's going to be difficult for you to go through certain process.
mm,
And I would tell them, come with a blank slate. And then, whatever information or whatever opportunity you get, take full control of it. Make your little notes, do your research, ask for help, ask for support. You asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's actually strength. It show that you know that you are strong and you're able to do it. So come, enjoy, be receptive, and you will grow.
What in particular in the training program was the most invaluable thing for you going through the Frames training program?
Support,
Mm, talk a little bit
support,
about that.
support. Um, can I call names or no names?
You can call names. Give them
Oh,
their
I got to big up Miss Sandra. She was one of them.
Yeah.
Then you have Miss Delva.
Mm-hmm.
They're my go-to girls. If I want a problem to be solved, I go to Miss Sandra. If I want information, I go to Miss Sandra. But Miss Delva, if I want help with my lesson plans or any information in regards to how to deal with a parent or a child,
Mhm.
I could definitely go to those two girls and they will help me. So, the support, the support, the support, the support. And I have to big it up to to my two girls that I have in the classroom, Bonita and Miss Beverly.
Mhm.
They have made the workload a little bit lighter on me. So, number one thing is support.
Yeah. And in terms of the support that you are anticipating,
Mhm.
what do you think for you is going to be the important support you're going to need in this new phase of your journey? Have you thought about it?
No.
It's
I
okay.
am just taking things one step at
One
a
step
time.
at a time.
I just don't want to think too far out because, life is life and
Life is life.
life is life and
Again, Miss Andrene, one of the things that I absolutely and it's a temperament thing. You certainly have the temperament to go through this process, and it clearly by the fact that you were in that room with Miss Beverly and Miss Eva. But for people who and I guess the question I want to ask is, you said you have to be open
Mhm.
to this. You had not had any experience with early child education. So do you think that contributed to your openness?
Yes, because I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know nothing, nothing, nothing at all in regards to early childhood education. And I still don't because I am still learning.
Hmm.
So if you come with the mindset of, oh, I know this and I know this, it's gonna be hard for you to take whatever criticism that you get.
Hmm.
That talk that we had,
Yeah.
that was something I was like, I didn't think of it that way because I was trying to make sure that
Hmm.
so just come with a blank slate.
Yeah.
Whatever you know from back days or from wherever, don't bring it in. Just come with a blank slate.
Yeah. And a part of the training was it's not just around early child education, but around also how we kind of prepare you in your personal life to take on a professional life. Because for a lot of people, they think that when you go to a daycare, you're just babysitting, but you can't just come into childcare or early child education and expecting it to work in the same way that you work when you're at Walmart or you're
Mm-hmm.
at corporate America, because you have to be there by law.
By law,
You
yep.
have to be there by law, and you have to be there on time, because not only is it professional to be there on time, but when you're talking about the social and emotional impact on children, children need that,
Stability.
routine. They need that stability. So when you're taking on this work, you're literally, you are not building widgets or machine. You're building a brain. You're building a child. So there's a lot of expectation. So, Andrene, what for you personally would be the next step for you personally? Not professionally, because we know what you want to do professionally, but what would you say would be your next step personally to achieve?
Pers Personally, I would definitely like to start my own little thing, but I know that could take time. But
Mhm.
personally, vacation.
Listen, where would you go for vacation?
Oh, I haven't seen my dad, so
Oh,
Jamaica, Jamaica, here I come.
hey, you're getting a week off, no?
I know, I
Are
know.
are you heading down to Jamaica
Yes, but not the other one.
the next year?
Next year, yes, I'm going to Jamaica to look for my dad. He's getting much younger.
Hmm.
So I have to try my best to spend as much time as I can.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but kind of start making some preparation. So, hey,
Yeah.
life is life. And
Yeah. And how do you feel having gone? I mean, how did you imagine that you would be at this place when you decided to enter into this program?
no, because like I said, I try my best not to think too far out
Hmm.
because sometimes Sometimes you make plans and you get disappointed,
Mhm.
and I have learned my lesson in that. So I just try to take things one step at a time. The scripture said, write it down and make it plain.
Mhm.
A lot of things I try to write it down and I say, God, this is what I want to do. If it's your will, let it be done.
And you're in a different place professionally and personally, right?
Yes.
One of the things I do have to tell you, besides your vacation, um, is definitely your degree. What is your plan for getting your bachelor's or associate degree?
So I'm currently working with Charter Oaks.
And what are you pursuing? Your bachelor's degree?
No, I'm starting off with my associate first. Let's test the waters first, Miss Georgia.
Listen, who are you working with? Maureen?
Is it Marine? I'm not so sure. No, it's not Marine, it's someone else. So
Okay.
I'm currently working with Charter Oaks to pursue my associates. It's 2 years, and I'm saying, Lord, take me through it. Take me through it.
You will absolutely be able to do it. Absolutely. I have lots of faith and confidence in you.
Thank you.
Miss Andrene, again, you are one of my favorite people to mess with. I
Thank
love going into, I call it little, well, we can't call it mini Jamaica anymore
you.
because
No,
where is Bonita from?
I think she's from Grenada.
Okay, so yes, but the center is just multicultural. I am so proud and thrilled. When I look at your lesson plans, it's just really extraordinary to see how far you have come in this
Thank
journey.
you.
And I know that you are going to achieve big things. And you are the reason why we continue to do this work because there are people like you in the community that have a vision for their lives, but they don't have a pathway necessarily to help them to get there. And I believe, Andrine, you would have achieved your goals without us. But I'm so, and I'm not just saying this, I am so thrilled to be a part of that. And going forward, I'm just going to let when Circle says, I want this person in the program, I'm going to defer to Circle because there is always that one Andrine that's out there that may not look quite where they need to be, but there's that spirit that's there, that's in you, that is in so many people in the community that we want to cultivate and we want to train up and bring those people and those voices in the community. And you also have a voice, and I want you to use your voice, just like you're encouraging the babies to use their voice. Is there anything final that you want to say that you want folks to know about you? And
Just I want to say thank you for this opportunity, and
Mhm.
thank you for thanks to Circle for giving me the opportunity as well. There is this one quote that Miss Eva gave to me, and I hold that quote so dearly. It said, "Where God leads, He provides."
Mm,
And I am a true testament that where He leads, He provides. And
yeah.
she always say this, when it's your turn, it's your turn. When
Mhm.
God opened the doors, He take the inches off so no one can close the door. Yes.
And Miss Eva is my mama. So yeah, she's been giving me those wisdom, those pearls of wisdom my whole
Yes,
life
yes,
as
yes.
well. So again, Miss Andrine, you are just again an example of the success that we can have at Circle with individuals in the communities like you. We look forward to your journey as a family childcare business owner. And I am so excited for your journey. I'm probably even more excited for your journey than you are. So with that, again, for folks who are interested in the Future Ready and More Equipped program, the FRAME program, they can certainly go and visit our website, ctcircle.org. Again, that is www.ctcircle.org, and you can just go as soon as you get to the front page, you are going the landing page, you're going to see all the information that's needed. And this is a program that is going to prepare you not just to be in early child education. We have another teacher who took a different pathway than early childhood. She's now a certified teacher in public school. We're going to bring her on to talk about her journey as well. So this is a teacher training program that can create many career tracks for you. We primarily want to bring people in the early child education space, but definitely this creates track for you to be in elementary education as well. www.ctcircle.org is where you need to go if you want to find out more about our FRAME teacher training program. It is future ready and more equipped. So thank you, Miss Andrene, for being with us. Thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
your journey with us. And thank you to the audience for being with us as well. And with that, we say good afternoon and good evening or good morning, wherever you are.
Bye.
I think we may have a couple minutes. Well, with a few minutes, we still have a few minutes. So with that few minutes, again, I'm going to promote our program and also to let the folks know that we're getting ready to launch the Legacy Learning Lab, and that is going to be a childcare center that is going to be designed to teach individuals who are educators already in the classroom to become family childcare business owners. We are in the process and we hope that that will be available, that we will be able to launch that facility next year. It will be open to, again, primarily teachers who are working in the classroom and who have a vision like Miss Andrene to own their own family childcare business. This is hard work. Again, a lot of people think it's easy work. A lot of people come in and they think that childcare is just babysitting. It is not. There are a lot of new credentials, a lot of new requirements, a lot of new information that's going to be required for folks to know if they're getting ready to start their journey to become an early childhood educator. And we are going to use the opportunity to build family childcare businesses because we want to make sure that families also have lots of choices for their children, and especially for children with special needs. We want to also create and cultivate these different centers and facilities to make sure that children, excuse me, to make sure that children have those options and that the teachers are also trained in one, early identification of children with special needs, but also having the skills and the knowledge to make sure that those skills are available to those children in the classroom. And so again, www.ctcircle.org. Thank you all for being here.